Jack wasn't superstitious. He didn't believe in ghosts, demons, or anything beyond what he could see, touch, and sarcastically complain about. But if there was one thing he did believe in, it was cheap rent. Damn right, viewers. Rent nowadays got me forked. And I'm talking about the eating utensil up. So, when he found a spacious apartment in a decent neighborhood, with a price so low it practically whispered haunted, he jumped on it. I would too, Jack. Lucky bast. The landlord, however, was unsettling. Not because he was creepy in an obvious way, but because he looked like a man who had been alive since the invention of Windows. Like I'm talking old. His face was as wrinkled as a forgotten grocery list, and his eyes sunk deep into his skull, held the weight of someone who had seen things. Maybe his old wife, not looking as young as she used to be. Just speculating. Jack was ready to sign the lease when the old man suddenly muttered, "Just don't mind the shadow in the corner." Excuse me, but the landlord was already shuffling away, his ancient bones creaking like a door that hadn't been oiled since the Great Depression. Yikes! Jack stared after him, then at the lease, then at the apartment. Cheap rent was cheap rent, as he shrugged. What was the worst that could happen? Jack spent the day unpacking, assembling furniture with an Allen wrench and existential dread, and ordering enough takeout to last him a week, like a true fat ass. By the time he was ready for bed, exhaustion weighed him down. Then he saw it, a shadow in the corner of the bedroom. Jack frowned. He looked around. No lamp, no furniture casting it. It just sat there, dark and unmoving, as if it had been waiting. A chill ran down his spine. Now, at this point, a reasonable person might have packed up and left. Jack, however, was not a reasonable person. He was a man who had paid a security deposit. So he did the only logical thing, pulled the blanket over his head and decided it was a problem for future Jack. Future Jack was not happy, because the shadow, it didn't go away. For the next few nights, the shadow remained. It never moved, never flickered, never did anything except exist. And that was somehow worse. Jack tried to ignore it. Then, on the fourth night, just as Jack was drifting off, a whisper, soft, almost imperceptible. Jack sat up so fast he almost gave himself whiplash. His heart pounded. The room was silent. He strained his ears. Nothing. Then, Jack, hell no. Jack leaped out of bed, grabbed his phone, and turned on the flashlight. His hands trembled as he scanned the room. The shadow was still in the corner, unmoving, watching. Jack's breathing was ragged. His heart thumped against his ribs. Had he imagined it? Was it just the wind? Maybe the landlord was screwing with him. Could it have been from those comments earlier? The universe getting back at me for my unsavory thoughts. Maybe this was his idea of an April Fool's prank. But the whisper had sounded so close, right next to his ear. Jack did not sleep that night. By the seventh night, Jack was a wreck, dark circles under his eyes, looking like he had just done 5 to 6 12-hour shifts at work, super jumpy, paranoid even, whispering please don't at every single shadow in the apartment. His friends had stopped responding to his texts, mostly because they were tired of him sending, "Guys, I'm gonna die at 3 a.m. I would be fed up as well. Like, bro, I have work in like 3 hours, dude. Save your paranoia for someone who cares." But then, everything escalated. Jack lay in bed facing the ceiling, refusing to look at the corner. He wouldn't give it the satisfaction. No, not today, not ever. Then, a soft, shuffling sound. Jack's breath hitched. The shadow was moving. Every horror movie he had ever seen told him this was it. This was the moment he either ran, died, or made a terrible decision. Can you guess what choice he made? He fumbled for his phone, desperate to turn on the flashlight. His hands were shaking so badly, he could barely grip it. The whisper came again. Jack, that was it. Jack's survival instincts finally kicked in. He squeezed his eyes shut, hit the flashlight button, and shined it directly at the shadow, and he saw it, his coat, hanging from the open closet door. Jack didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared, his coat hanging in the exact position to cast a perfectly ominous shadow. So wait, he never wore his jacket out again? I take it after initially coming into his new place? What a shut-in. And on top of it, a tiny, lopsided paper hat. Jack's phone buzzed. Tom's voice echoed in his mind. "Hey man, did you ever find that paper hat I stuck on your coat last week?" Jack sat in complete suffocating silence, looking like the biggest jackass alive. His mind short-circuited. The shadow, the whispers, the movement. Slowly he turned over his pillow. There, wedged beneath it, his TV remote. The whispering, just the static turning on and off as the remote buttons were pressed in his sleep. For a whole week, he had been terrified of a coat and a misplaced remote. A true face-palm moment. Jack flopped onto his bed, staring at the ceiling. The weight of every bad decision he had ever made crushed him at once. His apartment was not haunted. His coat had simply gaslit him. Somewhere in the dark, the shadow remained, unmoving, watching, probably laughing its non-existent, shadowy ass off. Wow, just wow. Now that one was pushing the envelope pretty far. I don't know if YouTube will allow such a graphic and sensitive video such as this one, but I'm a man of the people, or should I say my subscribers. So wish me luck, guys and gals. April Fools. I hope you all enjoyed this story as much as I did in creating this one. Really wanted to lean towards a more lighthearted and goofier story this time around. I don't know if I fooled any of you, but if I did, let me know in the comments. Anyway, depending on it, I may actually do a real April Fool's true horror story video after this one. But if I don't, then the next one after this is going to be an Easter Day, true horror stories. I'm looking forward to what I'll do. But before I go, I just want to say, thanks again, folks. I've been feeling down lately, but these videos help pass the time and remind me that there are people who genuinely are interested in these stories. I like to share Growth is slow on this channel, but it keeps me humble. But for you fine folks, I'll continue to try out new ideas and software as time goes on. Big things will be happening for this channel. I can see it, even almost taste it. But with that being said, thank you for listening to this rant of mine. Now, as to not take up any more of your time, remember this: we're always watching.